Hello, my beautiful friends. Lovely to see you, and thank you for joining me once again. I appreciate your presence, your attention. I appreciate your willingness to listen to me. I truly do. So today I wanted to come live and talk to you about the non-negotiable behavior that your guides and your non-physical aspects require from you as the physical manifestation, if you want to become an embodied channel for your greatest wisdom and for your guides. So listen up as I start to share about that. If you are watching the replay, please fast forward a few minutes if you would like to, just to get to the good stuff, because I do like to say hello to friends who join us. Susie, lovely to see you. It's been a very long time. We do like to say hello to everyone as you're joining us. So let me know that you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know what's going on in your part of the world. I am here in Brisbane, Australia. It is a lovely warm summer's day, even though we are very close to coming into spring, but it's a summer day really. It's quite windy. We always have August winds, so there's a lot of wind going on out there, and I like to stay inside. You might have noticed that about me. I do like to be on the other side of the screen. So let me know where you're watching from. Invite any of your friends that you know might be interested in the subject matter. Today we're going to start a conversation about what it is that your guides require from you as a non-negotiable in order for you to step into becoming the embodied channel for your greatest wisdom and for your guides, if that's where you choose to go with it. So let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to know where you're watching from, and I'd love to know anything else that you want to share with me. It's cold in Ballarat. Oh, your heater's on, you poor thing. Plus central heating. Wow. Yes, but you know, the problem with Queensland, the problem with Brisbane is that this is a beautiful mild summer's day. In about a week's time, we're probably going to get a full-on summer happening, and we'll all be complaining about sweating and it's way too hot and having to have our air conditionings on. So that's the thing about Queensland. Hi Charlene from Brizzy. Lovely to see you. You're enjoying the same weather as me, I'm sure. Perhaps not enjoying the wind, but certainly enjoying the warmth and the sunshine, which I make a point of going out into and standing in for at least 20 minutes every day, just standing there with my eyes closed, no sunglasses, I don't use them anymore. Wow, Edda, that's that's low, isn't it? Wow. Charlene, okay, fantastic. Well, I'm going to open up a little later. If you have any questions about the triggers and things like that, please excuse my telephone. For some reason, whenever I go live, my phone rings or I get a message or something like that happens. So there we've had the phone ring, now let's get on with it. Amy, hello, lovely to see you in Cleveland. Evening thunderstorm coming through right now, beautiful. I do like a good thunderstorm. Especially a summer thunderstorm, although that causes flash flooding in our part of the world most of the time. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone, and let's actually get into the conversation. What I want to talk about today is the very important and absolutely non-negotiable behaviour that is required of you in order for you to connect with, to communicate with, to channel through and become an embodied channel for your greatest wisdom or for your guidance team or whatever you wish to call it. So let me tell you what that non-negotiable is. And you're probably going to go, oh, well, of course, because we all know this, right? But I want to have a deeper conversation about it. The non-negotiable is that you must be in total self-acceptance, total self-love, total acceptance of wherever you are right here, right now. Total acceptance that whatever's going on for you right now, whatever's going on for you right now must be the right thing to be happening for you right now, because otherwise why would it be happening? In other words, total understanding that you are the physical manifestation of the non-physical, and as the physical manifestation of the non-physical aspects, which are God, guides, angels, all of those non-physical aspects, as the physical manifestation of those aspects, the human self, every time I say the human self and start talking, I'm trying to touch myself, pat myself, the human self, the body, the you that you call you, me, I, that aspect of you is as equally important as any other aspect of you. In fact, as a human being on planet Earth, for the journey that you came here, for the purpose that you came here, the physical body, the physical self, the me, the Anne, the Jeanette, the Charlene, the Ellen, the Michelle, the Karen, that part of you is the most important part. Indeed, Charlene, the portal that we live in, it is the most important part. You have to take care of it. You have to feed it and water it and love on it. Most importantly, love on it. So that's really the number one non-negotiable. In order to become a fully embodied channel of your non-physical aspects or of your guides or your higher self, you must step into a self-love that is beyond any self-love you've ever known before. I don't even like to call it self-love, because we've watered that down quite a bit, haven't we, with this personal development industry that we have going on. It's more for me about loving on yourself, accepting who you are, accepting the way you are, accepting your behaviours as they are right now, being in total acceptance and total loving on yourself, and then from that place allowing yourself to be the portal or the conduit for your greatest wisdom to come through. Because here's the thing, when you're not loving on yourself, when you're not in total acceptance of who you truly are, the physical manifestation of the non-physical, you are doubting yourself, you are questioning, perhaps like me, whether you are a bit of a mental case and should be in a mental hospital, or whether what's really happening to you is real. You are questioning whether you're worthy of it. You are doubting and stopping yourself from saying and doing and being the things that you know you are led to be and do and say, which means that you're not being a pure channel for your non-physical aspects. And so that's the information that I wanted to share with you today. That's all of the information that I wanted to share with you today, because what I want to do is actually open up and do a little Q&A session with you. Before I do that, Charlene, that's really interesting actually. And by the way, Charlene, if you want to ask about the trigger question, please do so now. So it's a good time to talk about the trigger moment. But I want to just address what you've said here. Love is overrated and people don't get the concept, the difference in being loved and loved. This is why I always talk about the next level of self-love, because the level we're in, predominantly in a level of self-love that is really just self-care. And so we're talking about taking it to that next level where you are so in love with yourself, not in that selfish way, not in that narcissistic way, but in that way that you trust, totally, absolutely trust everything that's happening to you is what needs to be happening right now. So you're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything wrong at any point. When you're accepting what's happening right now, what you've done in the past, when you're totally just accepting all of who you are, that doesn't mean that you don't perhaps want to be more than that. and that you can't reach to be more than that. Absolutely, that's the whole point. Hello Cindy, lovely to see you. So it's really about unconditional, and I'm going to use that word because it really feels like it's the most important word. The non-negotiable that the non-physical needs from you as a human being, as the physical representation of the non-physical, is total unconditional love of self, acceptance of self. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And of course I want to open up to any questions that you have around that sort of thing, around receiving guidance, around channeling yourself, if you're interested in doing that, any of those sorts of things. Just before we go any further, I do want to invite you. I want to invite you to join me next week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday next week. I'm holding a free Facebook Live event on this page, but also in the group Be the Change to See the Change. And what we're going to do in that time is we're going to do activations to help you to connect to those non-physical aspects of you. I'm going to talk more about the non-negotiables. I'm going to talk more about how you can step into becoming an embodied channel. This is our future. This is where we're going with our evolution, not just as channels for other people's benefit, but an embodied channel. In other words, many of us call ourselves, I don't call myself, but many call ourselves light workers, those of us who are here to do good work in the world, spiritual light work in the world. We call ourselves light workers. And so the way that I would express this is that you become a walking embodiment of the light. Okay? Thanks, Liz. That's fantastic. You've registered. That means that you've been to AnnAleckson.com/go direct. So if anybody wants to join that event, if you want to get all the details, you want to find out how to win the prizes, because there's a couple of $1,000s worth of prizes on offer for people who join us. There's going to be points given for certain actions and things that you do for the period of time that we're doing this together, and you can win a couple of different types of sessions with me. Believe me, they're priceless. I've only put a price on them because you have to in this reality, don't you? They're priceless. So come join me for that. And right now what I want to do is I've got my computer screen down here, by the way. It's easier for me to read because the comments on the phone just scroll up so quickly. I'm just going to go back. Charlene wanted to talk about a trigger. So here is, what is it called? It is called Go Direct with Your Guides, the Facebook Live event that is happening for free next week. And if one of my beautiful friends who know the website where you can find it, if you can pop it into the comments for me, www.annaleckson.com/go direct. And it's a capital G and a capital D, Go Direct. You might notice that the first three letters of Go Direct is God. And I don't think that's by any accident. Hello, Darlene, lovely to see you. Okay, so I've invited you to come and join me next week for the free event. And what I want to do now is just have a look at the questions that we've got and answer some of them. I had a trigger that I was feeling a lot older than the group I've been interested in, though I came to feel I've been where they have. Charlene, I want to just quickly remind you that there is, we're moving into this age, this new world where time does not exist. Time is a human concept. Age is a human concept because it's related to time. Please, I want you to just step into that. Thank you for sharing that, Aisha, and Ellen as well. Thank you, I appreciate it. So I want you just feel the lightness of that. Feel the lightness of that. Age, like time, is a human construct. And you don't live in that world anymore. You don't live in the 3D anymore. Believe me, many of us are no longer in the 3D. Yes, we're still operating in it because that's how human beings have to at this point in time. However, we're predominantly moving beyond that now, okay? That's why I now do multi-dimensional healing sessions where we go into usually around 9 dimensions, from 3 all the way through. It's not 9, it's from 3 till 9, and sometimes we go beyond that for certain people as well. So by the way, one of those sessions and a month of support is included as one of the prizes for the event next week, so make sure you come along. One of the first things that you can do to gain some points for that is to invite your friends to join us, so make sure that you do that as well. Charlene, I had a trigger that I was feeling, okay, so yeah, I hope I've helped that. And Michelle, you needed to hear whatever I said, that's wonderful, I'm not quite sure what it is. Ellen, one aspect of self-love for me has been to step forward, face my fears, and go to the doctors to know rather than wonder about my state of physical health. This isn't just huge for you, Ellen, this is huge. And what I'm noticing is that the more of us that are starting to speak about how important the physical form is with regards to being able to then channel through your non-physical aspects and your greatest wisdom and your guides, is the physical health of the human being. It's incredibly important, whether that means that you go to a normal doctor, a 3D doctor, or whether you go and find other ways to do your healing work. But definitely going to a doctor and finding out what's going on with this physical body so you can then deal with it, whether you do it energetically or dimensionally or some other way. So that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Hi, Jeanette. It's lovely to see you. Interesting. Jeanette is, yes, when we generate an issue, but harder to accept when a narc ex is driven to demolishing me. I absolutely understand where you're coming from, and I understand that narcissistic people around us make it incredibly hard for us to move into self-responsibility. And that's okay. But what I want to invite you to do is again to remember, Jeanette, that this might not be true for you. It might not be true for everyone, but it's true for me that whenever something outside of me is causing me problems, I absolutely know that the way for me to heal it, and again, this might be just for me, not for everybody else, maybe for one or two of you, but perhaps not for everyone. And so I'm just offering it as this is what I do. Whenever something or someone outside of me is making me feel a certain way, and certainly when it's making me feel that I'm not in control, I take myself back to a teaching from Neil Donald Walsh. And his teaching goes something like this. Whenever you see something outside of you that annoys you or upsets you, let's use the homeless person as an example. When you see a homeless person and you find yourself getting annoyed, oh God, they're sitting outside my building again, you know, they're making the place smell, these sorts of things, that you simply remember that there is only one of us. There is only one of us. So therefore, I'm projecting into the world as a homeless person. Now, what I then understand is that, okay, there I go again being homeless. There I go again being homeless. What would help me feel better in this moment? And then to do that thing that I believe would make me feel better. The example that I've heard and that I sometimes use is that there I go again being homeless. What is it that I need to give to myself right now? And the answer might be, well, it's bloody cold and I've got no shoes on. I might need some shoes. And so then my job is to offer those shoes to myself as the homeless person. Now, I know this is very hard. Absolutely, I know this is hard. And again, I know that this is not for everybody. but it's what I do. So when someone's angry at me, or someone's treating me a certain way, or someone's controlling my life, I always have to go and say, there I go again, being controlling. What is it that I need? And then I need to give that thing to myself. And again, I understand narcissism, it's a little bit beyond what we're talking about, but at the same time it's not. So I just wanted to share that with you. And at the same time agree with you that yes, it is hard. Aisha, and that's absolutely fine. Here's what I want you to understand. You know, being called to channel guides is actually old school, right? Truly, it's an old school thing. What we're actually, it's been the thing to do in the build up to becoming an embodied channel for your greatest wisdom, because that's really what it is. Because as you know, I always say, you are the physical manifestation of the non-physical, or you are the physical manifestation of the universe, or God, or your guides, or your angels. So, thank you, Jeanette. So what I'm saying then is that it's absolutely fine not to be called to channel your guides. That's not your path. But what absolutely is your path is that you become an embodied channel for your greatest wisdom. It's one and the same thing, okay? There's that paradox again. I'm channeling guides and I'm channeling who I really am, right? Two things. I'm human and I'm also non-physical. I'm physical and I'm also non-physical, bringing it together, the two opposite ends, bringing it into the center. That's what we're talking about here. So this is not about being called to channel your guides. This is about being called to step into your greatest power and to start sharing your message into the world in whatever way that you do that. Thank you. Okay. Just scrolling through. Spirit light, yes, Ella, that's beautiful. Okay, let me keep going. Registered, Ellen's registered and shared. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. If you're just joining us, the thing that people are registering for is the free event that I'm doing on Facebook Live next week called Go Direct with Your Guides and Your Greatest Wisdom. I want you to understand that we're talking guides, but we're also talking you. This is you. There's no separation between the two, or the hundreds in most people's cases, because we are the physical manifestation of our non-physical. Our guides are part of our non-physical, therefore we are the physical manifestation of our guides. Therefore this is about channeling your greatest wisdom, not necessarily some otherworldly guides, because there's no such thing as otherworldly. We are all that is, right? Hello, Catherine. Just had an aha moment. I am in a holding pattern to gather my strength as I am about to be launched into a huge busy period. Bless you, Catherine. We are in that right now, aren't we? We really are in that. And I often find that that happens July, August, moving into September. I sometimes think it's because my birthday's in September, so therefore it makes sense for me that September's like a new year for me. But I've always considered September to be the beginning of next year. All right, the pre-beginning of next year, because it is. It's a pull. It's like a magnetic pull, where we go quiet for a little while. It's very quiet. I said yesterday on my live that nothing was moving, nothing was happening. The whole world has gone quiet for just a moment, even though, and I acknowledge this, there are lots of traumas happening to the earth at this point in time. I acknowledge that, and to the people of earth at this time as well. We're acknowledging that. At the same time, we're saying, though, for those of us who are privileged not to be in those places, then for us it's been a period of slow down in order to speed up. Slow down in order to speed up. And you're spot on, Catherine. That's exactly what's happening. Amazing. So yes, as I was saying, the registration that we're talking about is to do with... Exactly, Ellen. Yes, I love that you guys start your school year in September. It makes sense to me. we're talking about the free Go Direct with Your Guides and Your Greatest Wisdom Facebook live event that I'm doing. It's activations, it's healings, it's going to be huge. There's lots of energy happening, and you're invited to join. The address to join is www.annealeckson.com/go direct with a capital G and a capital D. And there's prizes up for grabs, $2,000 worth of prizes. And I'm going to be posting shortly about what you need to do in order to get those prizes, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you, Catherine. Lovely. I'm so glad that you're going to be joining us. Oh, Charlene. Okay, fantastic. All right. Makes sense. I can relate to more challenging myself in my own wisdom. Exactly, Aisha. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, perfect, Edda. Of course you've been sharing your own wisdom. Of course. You are the physical manifestation of your non-physical aspects. Let's really ground that down into our reality. We are the physical manifestation of our non-physical aspects. Therefore, whatever we're channeling, whether we think it's guides, whether we think it's God, whether we think it's angels, whether we think it's ourselves, we are correct. Right? All right. I'll check, Charlene, if you... yes, Charlene, I'll check that you've done it right at some point, okay? Fantastic. Well, I can't see any more questions coming through. I'm just going to take a sip of water. If anyone else has any last questions before we finish it up, let me know and I'll answer your questions after I have a sip of water. What amazing energy we're in at the moment. It's such a beautiful, beautiful energy. It's so life-affirming, but it's also so powerful in that we are being driven, so to speak, to actually claim and step into our full power as creator beings, as the physical manifestation of Source. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Charlene, you can ask another question. Absolutely. Just type it in as quick as you can. Otherwise, I'll be standing here not saying anything. I come from a radio background, and when I say that, I mean simply that years ago, when I first started doing any sort of work like this, I hosted my own weekly radio show on Blog Talk Radio. And so the predominant thought in my head whenever I'm in some sort of situation like this is that I can't stop talking. There can be no dead air. And yet I also understand the power in silence. But what I do often when I'm doing these Facebook Lives, I try to keep talking because there's always this thought in my mind, there's got to be something happening. There's got to be something happening. You can't leave dead air. You can't have dead air. So Charlene, ask that question. And then I can't see it hasn't come up yet. So Barbara Dean, hi. And fantastic. I'll look forward to seeing you on the Go Direct program as well. Why do I always see hearse and vehicles that carry dead people? Well, that's really interesting. You know, if we look at the law of attraction, and I always look at the law of attraction because while I have a deeper understanding of it than is predominantly out there in the world at the moment, it still is. I don't like calling it the law of attraction because it's been dumbed down, right? Well, it has to go mainstream and it has to be dumbed down to go mainstream. And so that's all perfect. There's nothing going wrong. But it is an absolute truth that what you focus on is what you get. And so there's two things here, right? Okay, Charlene, that I want you to know. When you notice one, you start wondering why you're noticing it. And in the wondering why you're noticing it, you put your focus on that. So therefore you attract more of those things into you. So that's the first thing. The second thing, there's three things actually. The second thing is that, where was I going to go with that? The second thing is that I don't know if you are a medium at this point in your life. By the way, we all are. This is again what I want everyone to understand, is that we are the physical manifestation of the non-physical. Therefore, everything anybody can do, we can also do if we have a desire for it, if we focus on it, if by law of attraction we bring it into our world. We already have all of these skills within us. You know, they talk about how we only use 10% of our brain. Well, the 90% that we're not using is all of these psychic abilities. I'm feeling, I feel, Charlene, almost like it's not a desire to be there. It's not a you're supposed to be there. It's more a you've got work to do with those. I feel like you're a medium. As opposed to being a well done or a rare. No, just a joke. Just a carnivore joke. What I mean to say is that you have the ability within you to be a very good medium. And so I think that you bring those things into you in order to bring those things to your attention in order for you to get comfortable with them, so that when this starts happening for you, or when it starts happening more than it currently is, then what you're doing is you're very gently putting your foot into it by seeing these things all the time and wondering why, and then seeing more of them. You are allowing yourself to very gently come into your knowing of the fact that you are a physical manifestation of the non-physical, and that those energies that are bringing your attention to that, because they're there, those non-physical energies that belong to that being that is present there, are indicating to you that they're no different than you. They're just non-physical, you're physical. You can see each other, you can talk to each other, you can do all of this sort of stuff. And just simply by doing what you're doing, which is say blessings and send your heart to go to the light, you're assisting. Many thousands, many millions of people around the world are assisting deceased energies to go to the light. And for those of us who are aware and who know, sorry, I'm just getting a lot of interference coming in, lots of voices coming at me all at the one time, so I'm finding it hard to articulate what I want to say. But what I'm saying is, Eda, I absolutely agree with you. They sense your energy and they connect with you, and that's what I'm saying here, is that there are thousands of us around the world who every single time we see one of these things, we bless, and our energy goes out to help them to go towards the light, or to help them to be more comfortable in the fact that they are going towards the light. So that was all really, really jumbled, but I'm hoping that you got something out of that. Okay, Barbara. Tossing up between going through with refinance for home loan now or waiting for a while. I'm not confident I'll be able to afford repayments at the moment as my options are very limited. Barbara, right away I'm getting a it's not for now. Okay, so what I want you to actually do, get this answer for yourself, is to sit down and open up and say, okay, I need to receive guidance. I need to know, should I do it now? Is this for now or is this for later? And the answer that I'm getting is don't do it now, but I want you to get that answer for yourself. So I want you to just sit down and do that little process. Okay, Eda. Yes, Ellen. Eda does do it as well, of course. Animals. Yeah, fantastic. Well, I don't know if it's fantastic, but there you go. Yeah, just confirming the waiting. That's exactly right, Barbara. All right, beautiful. Hello, Liesl. Lovely to see you. I see ghosts all the time. I'm not scared at all. I want to help, though. Some are a bit stubborn. Well, this is the point, you see. Now, let me put this a little bit differently for everybody right now. When I talk about go direct with your guides and that we're the physical manifestation of the non-physical, all of these things, and our purpose really is to simply come into unconditional love and acceptance for ourselves as physical beings so that the non-physical can channel through us. which is not separate from us, so that we can accept that there are other aspects of me that I can align with and speak wisdom from, because those non-physical aspects have access to every dimension, time, space, every past, future, all of those sorts of things. So what I'm saying about that is to say that our purpose is to be in our highest vibrational frequency, to be as close to our non-physical aspects as we possibly can while we are in human form, without having to die in order to do it. Now, many wonderful things, in fact many magical things, it's almost as though life starts to happen for you as you step into this way of being, as you become one with your non-physical aspects, as you love yourself through everything, as you totally accept whatever's happening for you is what needs to be happening for you right now in order for you to get wherever you're going. And as you accept that, your success is inevitable. It's going to happen. Right? As you accept all of these things, as you start to step into it and ground into that and know those things as truth, you become the vibrational frequency of unconditionality. And as the vibrational frequency of unconditionality, or you could call that unconditional love, you could call that Christ consciousness, it matters not what you call it. You could call it unconditional joy. And it's all the same vibration. Can you feel the vibration? Then, in every moment, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, you are serving your purpose of lifting humanity to its next evolution. You're a gift, and you're already being that gift in the world, whether you know it or not. We're just becoming conscious of it, and I'm sharing these words to help us all become more conscious of what it is that we're doing, what we're here to do, what our purpose is, why, and all of these bits and bobs. All right, let me just see if there's anything else. Beautiful. Ghosts and spirits, they really don't care what you call them, Charlene. It's all good. Beautiful. Yes, Etta, that's exactly right. This is exactly what I'm talking about with regards to being the vibration of unconditional love. Animals will come to you. I have butterflies land on me all the time. It makes my son very jealous ever since he was a teeny tiny little thing. Why can't I do that, Mummy, he used to say. Because I would stand there and just let them land on me. Because when you come from a place of total love, unconditionality, acceptance, and all of those things, by the way, this is not 24/7 for me. I'm a human as well. I'm still growing, I'm still learning, and I'm simply sharing from what I've learned so far. Please understand that. So yes, these sorts of things will absolutely happen for us, that we have animals approach us and all of those sorts of things. And Angela, I'm just, oops, sorry, that's my window, everybody. In fact, that's my, that's two of my little singing bowls. One for the throat chakra, which is my main instrument of my work, and the other for the, what's the other one? I can't think of the name of the chakra because I'm not really a chakra person, but it's for courage, because I need courage for what I do. Less and less as it turns out, but there you go. I was actually trying to get to Angela's question so I could answer it for you. Angela, I'm at a crossroads. I have just quit uni. I'm not sure what my new purpose and direction will be. I'm accepting of the change, just not sure of my direction. Edda has, of course, given you a perfect answer. And that is to, you don't need to know the answer right now. You don't need to know the answer right now. What you need to do is accept where you are right now. You need to, and again, I'm saying need, but it's not a need. It's a, if you want to, I'm just giving you some advice. Come into acceptance of where you are And what I'd really love to invite you to do, Angela, is to start thinking about what would I do? What would I like to do? You know, it's that age-old personal development question, but it's still a really great question, right? If I had all the money in the world and I could do whatever I want, what would I choose to do? I want you to play with that, and perhaps in a little different way. Perhaps thinking about, I know I have a purpose, I know I came here to do something, and I'm really curious to start seeing it unfold. What do I need to know right now? And again, we're talking about getting in touch with your guides. We're talking about communicating with your guides, receiving guidance and sharing guidance with others if that's what floats your boat. But let's talk about just doing it for yourself. This is a perfect example for you, Angela. Do that. Sit. Close your eyes. Ask your non-physical aspects to join you in this moment. And say, I'm ready for the next step. What's the next step that I should take? What would you have me do today in order to step onto my purpose path, okay? But just know this. Sometimes it unfolds one step at a time. In fact, most of the time it unfolds one step at a time. It does not present itself on a platter for you, perfectly written out. This is how you do it. This is what you do. Your non-physical aspects have all the answers for all of that. They've already done it. And you just need to tap into those aspects and say, what would you have me do today? What would you have me do right now? What would you have me do next week? What would you have me do with the person in front of me? All right? Beautiful. Solar plexus. Yes, thank you, ladies, for reminding me. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Charlene, can you answer a question to Barbara? I mean, you absolutely can if you wish to in the post. I'm not opposed to that, although I also have some human aspects of me that would prefer... No, not at all. Actually, I don't. That's interesting, isn't it? That's an interesting subject to explore. We should probably explore that at some point in a live. But for me, I am done. I think I answered Barbara's question anyway, and I'm sure there are different perspectives. So by all means, if Barbara's open to you providing any insight, then by all means, do that. We are a community. We are a group of people who are serving each other. We come together. We actually, in fact, are all only one energy. So, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jenny. Always good to see you too. All right, my darlings, I'm finished and I am going to... I've got some writing to do this afternoon, so I'm going to go and do that. And I will look forward to, well, spending more time with you when the time is right next, which, by the way, will probably be sometime today because I'm a bit like that. I'm a bit chatty at the moment. I've got the throat thing going on and I've just got to keep talking in order to loosen it up because I've got some new stuff coming through. I'm absolutely sure of it. I feel like I've up-leveled, as we all have over the past months. There's been huge up-leveling happening, and so I'm stepping into that. And you are all helping me by helping me to loosen up my throat chakra. So thank you for that. And I will talk to you again very, very soon. Thank you for joining me.